Very good morning. In the last class, we discussed about the projection of planes topic, and we just haven't had an introduction on what are all the planes. And if you want to say a surface as a regular plane or an irregular plane, what are all the condition? And we just saw some basic polygonal shapes. So I think you know better about the shape polygons. So polygons are nothing but it's a closed surface bounded by the straight lines, and based on the number of sides and the arrangement of the sides, the name and nature of the polygon may differ. And in geometrics there is lot of equations and derivations are developed for the polygons. In our subject we are not going to deep in geometry, we are going to draw the projections of such plane figures based on our requirement. Okay, and we are going to play with very few numbers of polygons only, starting from triangle and square, rectangle, pentagon, hexagon. Up to this only we are going to deal, and we are going to deal with circle also. And before that, I hope all of you know how to draw the various polygons. If it is an triangle, whether it is equilateral triangle or right angle triangle or isosceles triangle, and in the case of square, rectangle, I know you know how to draw these things. It's very easier also. And maybe someone of you not having exposure on how to draw the pentagon and a hexagon. So this will I will teach you how to draw a pentagon and how to draw a hexagon by some standard methods. So generally the drawing of pentagon and hexagon, I am recommending my students to draw simply by using the included angle method. This is somewhat it is taking some time. It's a foolproof method. Apart from that also some other methods are available to draw the pentagon and hexagon. Okay, now let me to show you how to draw a pentagon with some special methods. So you know the shape pentagon. So it's a rough drawing, it's not a correct one. Yes, square, a plane which is having 5 sides, and all the 5 sides are equal in length, and the included angle between each side is also equal, and it is 108, that is 108 degree. If it is like that, it is nothing but a pentagon. If even a polygon having 5 sides and violating any one of these norms, we can't say it is a regular pentagon. That may be called as oblique pentagon or some irregular shape. If it is said to be a pentagon, then this should satisfy these conditions. All sides should be equal, all 5 sides should be equal, and all 5 included angle between the sides also to be equal, and it should be 108 degree. Okay, so in order to draw the pentagon, simply you can follow the included angle method. That is, first you need to draw a side with the given length. For example, if the length of the pentagon is given as 40 mm or 50 mm, just draw a side with 50 mm length, and then using your protractor you can draw the one more side. So this angle you need to be maintained as 108 degree, and draw the another side with the same length. Okay, with the same length, and then again in the opposite side from the another end you can draw another one line with the same included angle 108 degree. So that's enough. After that, simply by using your compass you can finish up. Use your compass and load it with the distance equal to the side length of the pentagon. From this end you can cut one arc here, and from that end you can cut one more arc here. You can find out the terminal and easily you can join. So this is a very simplest method for drawing the pentagon by using the included angle. You need not to take 108 degree 5 times. Just 2 times you need to take, and then you can finish up the drawing of pentagon. This is one method, very simple method. Another one method is, first you need to draw one side of the pentagon with the given length, and then at the midpoint of this side, just you need to draw a vertical line. the length of the line is not to be in a particular value. It's just like your construction line. Should be in very light manner. Okay, and then from any one end of this straight line, you need to draw an inclined line which is inclined at 54 degree. Okay, 54 degree. So this inclined line, 54 degree inclined line, will intersect the line which is drawn from the center of the side at this point. Okay, now take your compass and make the pivot of the compass here and load it as the radius and draw a circle. The circle will be came like that. So after that, just take measurement in your compass as the side length of the pentagon. Okay, side length of the pentagon. From this end cut one arc, and from that end cut another one arc, and then the midpoint also will, this line also provide you one point. So when you connect all these things, you will get the regular pentagon. This is also one more method to draw the pentagonal shape. So you can use any one of this, the previous method or this method. Which one is more comfortable to you and feels more foolproof to you, you can follow. Maybe these things someone already did. It's just for the remembrance purpose I am telling you these things here. And then how to draw the hexagon. So hexagon is a six-sided polygon. It's a six-sided polygon, and here also the condition is the all six sides should be equal in length, and the all included angle between each side should be equal, and that should be 120 degree, 120 degree. So in this way, if you have a polygon, then it can be said as a hexagon. Okay, and drawing of hexagon is also very simple like your pentagon. By using the included angle method, you can complete the drawing of hexagon. First you need to draw a side with the length of the hexagon, and from one end you can take 120 degree, and from another one end also you can take 120 degree, and here again you can take 120 degree, 120 degree, and then you can join, you can complete the drawing of hexagon. So in this route also some simplest shortcuts may be possible. So once you had some experience on these topics, definitely you can use some shortcuts. For example, here after making these two sides, simply you can draw a vertical line from these two ends, and with the length equal to the side of your hexagon, from this part you can cut arc, and here also you can cut one arc, and you can join, you can complete the hexagon. So these kind of shortcuts also possible in drawing all the type of polygons. This up to you. But before trying any new shortcut, just to verify whether it is right or wrong with me, or you can discuss with your friends, or you can search with the internet to find out whether the new following method is right or not. Okay, and this is one method. In some other method also we can draw the hexagon. The very popular method used for drawing the hexagon is inscribed circle method. Okay, inscribed circle method. By this method you can draw the hexagon with very less amount of time. For that, first you need to take your compass and load the compass with the radius equal to the side of your hexagon. For example, if your hexagon side length is 40 mm, you need to load your compass with 40 mm radius, and then draw a circle. So for that I can use the exact tools. Assuming I am having the radius in this compass equal to the side of the hexagon, and draw the circle. This is the midpoint. Okay. So after that, decide in which alignment you are in need of the hexagon, whether in the vertical alignment or in the horizontal alignment or in any inclined alignment. So decide in which alignment you are going to have your hexagon, and based on that also now you are going to draw the axis. Here first you needed to, for example, now I am in need of hexagon in this alignment. So what I needed to do is, I needed to draw a diameter line in that circle passing through the midpoint with a 2H pencil only, in this way. So after that, just take your compass again. Now still the radius is equal to the radius of that circle. So from this end, cut one arc in left side and right side in the curve, and again from the bottom cut arc in left side and right side. Now by connecting all these cut points, you can bring your hexagon. See here. See, now we got our hexagon. Okay, this method is called as inscribed circle method of drawing the hexagon. Okay, here also I insist you, these sides of the hexagon should be drawn with the HB pencil. Rest of all things should be drawn with the 2H pencil in order to show where the hexagon is actually exist. See here also everything is drawn with some same ink and with the same darkness. So it is very hard to find where the exact hexagon is here. So in your paper you need to follow the darkness norms between the elements. If the final output you are going to draw, then only you need to use the HB pencil. Rest of the things will be drawn with the 2H pencil. So in this way we can draw the basic shapes, and I hope you know very well about how to draw the square and rectangle. These are the very simple plane surfaces. And then we can go to the section where how to draw the projections of the planes when these kind of planes are considered between the horizontal plane and the vertical plane exclusively in the first quadrant. How to bring out the front and top views of these kind of plane elements, we can solve through problems. You can learn how to draw the projections through some simple problems. The examination point of view problems may be discussed in the next few classes. First you needed to know how the plane figures are projected in the vertical plane and horizontal plane to get the front and top view respectively. Thereafter we can go for some complex level of problems. Let me to rub off the board. Okay, starting from a very simple problem. So I am not just going to solve this problem. So along with we are going to learn some basic things about the projection of planes. Okay, so the question is, maybe if you are having paper and pen you can write, otherwise just listen. I am going to have a square plane. Okay, a square plane, and the plane side is 40 mm. Let me to write the problem in the board. a square plane of side 40 mm is perpendicular to HP and parallel to VP. Parallel to VP. One side of the plane is parallel and 15 mm above HP. The surface of the plane is 20 mm in front of VP. Draw its projections. This is what the question. A very simple environment. That is a square plane. A square plane of 40 mm side is placed in the first quadrant. That is above HP and in front of VP. And the nature of the plane overall is perpendicular to HP and parallel to VP. Okay, perpendicular to HP and parallel to VP. For example, now it is actually a square plane. Okay, a square plane. Now considering the board as the vertical plane and the floor as the horizontal plane, as per this problem statement, how I need to place this square plane? This square plane should be perpendicular to HP. If a plane is said to be perpendicular to HP, then automatically it is meant that the surface of the plane is perpendicular to HP. Surface of the plane is perpendicular to HP and the surface of the plane is parallel to VP. In this way I need to keep the square plane. It is now perpendicular to HP. The surface is perpendicular to HP and the same surface is parallel to VP. Okay, parallel to VP. And in addition, where exactly it is located? Where exactly it is located? This can be given by some details in the question. That is, one side of the plane. One side of the plane, maybe this side, is 15 mm above HP. This side is 15 mm above HP and parallel to HP. This statement is given here. See here, one side of the plane is parallel and 15 mm above HP. This side, I am considering this side, is parallel and 15 mm above HP. And the surface of the plane is 20 mm in front of VP. 20 mm in front of VP. So in this condition, you need to draw the front view and the top view of the plane. Before getting to the XY environment, let's see how actually the environment is there. When you consider the horizontal plane and the vertical plane, or horizontal plane and vertical plane, you are going to have your square plane, which is having perpendicular to HP and parallel to VP. So in this way it is going to be there. And the meantime, one side, maybe this side, is parallel to HP. It is parallel to HP and 15 mm above HP. That side alone. Okay. And the meantime, the surface is 20 mm in front of VP. The surface is 20 mm in front of VP. And the side is 40 mm. That's different. Side is 40 mm. So in this way you are having your square plane. Now you need to draw its front and top views. Okay, before drawing it with the rules and regulation of orthographic projection, first you can, I am having some logical question to you. In which view, whether in front view or in top view, in which view you can get the original shape of the square? Definitely in one view only you can say it's a square. In the other view, this would be as a straight line only. So if you see this in front view and in top view, in which view you can see the square, whether in front view or in top view? Definitely in the front view. So in the front view only, the square shape view of the plane is obtained in the vertical plane. If you see it from the top, definitely you will saw only a line, a straight line. The plane is not looking as a plane when you see it from the top. This will be a plane only if you look it from the front. See, it's a logical result. I am having the plane like that. It is now perpendicular to HP and parallel to VP. Now you are able to see its shape as a square. If you see it from the top, are you able to see the square shape? No. You can see only the straight line. Only the straight line. So this is nothing but the uniqueness here. So in this way, we are going to draw the front and top views. What we are getting is actually, this will be, we are going to draw in the paper. So along with some standard norms and regulations of orthographic projections. Okay. Let me do rub off this rough work and we can draw the answer. So, primarily you need to know where we are going to have the base shape. So it is actually a square plane. The shape of the base here is square. Okay, the shape of the base here is square. So first you need to find out in which view you can see the base. Immediately after reading this problem, you need to find out that in which view we can see the base, whether in front view or in top view. Thereafter only you can start to answer the rest of the things. Yes, now I am going to start from the scratch. First I needed to draw the XY line. XY line. Okay. Now, in which view I can start? Whether in front view or in top view. That's based on in which view you are getting the base of the plane. So in this problem statement, already we just discussed the actual environment of the object. So in this way, we are having our object. Our square plane is standing like that in front of VP and above HP. And one side of the square plane is parallel to HP and 15 mm above HP, and the surface entire plane is 20 mm in front of VP. So in this way the plane is float among the first quadrant, float in the first quadrant. The front view will be obtained in the vertical plane in this way. The top view will be obtained in the horizontal plane in that way. So this top view and front view only our outputs, not the plane. So this front and top view only we are going to draw. Now after drawing the XY line, where to start? This is what the very important question. Where you need to start is in which view you are getting the shape, that is the base of the plane. There you need to start. So in this problem situation, the square base of the given plane is obtained only in the front view. So you need to start your answer from the front view. From the front view. Okay, right. In the front view, I am going to draw the square base. What about the dimensions of the square base? It's given as 40 mm. This one dimension is enough to draw a square, right? Then where exactly I need to draw the square base? Whether here, there, exactly where? With respect to XY, where I need to draw the square base in the front view area. That will be answered by knowing the distance of the plane and the horizontal plane. So the plane here is having one side parallel to xy line and it is 15 mm above the horizontal plane. So you need to aim 15 mm above xy. So just have a locus line. Which is 15 mm above xy. 15 mm above xy. And then you can start to draw the square. The side of the square is 40 mm. With that dimension I can draw. Just I finished drawing the square base in the front view. Square base in the front view. Like in the projection of points and straight lines. Here also we needed to name the corners of the object. So here in the previous section, in the case of projection of points, a point can be named with a single alphabet, maybe A. If it is a front view, we use A dash. If it is top view, simply we are using small letter A. In the case of the straight lines, the two ends of the straight lines are named by using the alphabets, maybe A, B. If it is front view, A dash, B dash, A1, B1, A1 dash, B1 dash. In this way, we used two alphabets to name the straight line. In the case of the planes, based on the type of the plane, the alphabet utilized for marking the corners may be different. In the case of a square plane, you need to use 4 alphabets. In the case of the pentagonal plane, you need to use 5 alphabets. In the case of the hexagon, you need to use 6 alphabets to name the each and every corners of the plane. Here we are having a square plane which is having how many corners? 4 corners. 1, 2, 3, 4. Each corner should be named by using any one alphabet. And maybe here I am mentioning A dash, and here B dash, and there C dash, finally here as D dash. This kind of naming is not a constant one. It's depend upon our reference only. In our class we can follow a standard norm for our own. Maybe in some books they are named with numerals. Someone may be named with A1 dash, A1 dash, A2 dash. In this way they are using alphabets to mention the name of the corners. This is not an unique one. For our taste, for our convenience, we can use any one in our class, but that should be followed up to the end of the syllabus. Okay. So here I named it as A dash, B dash, C dash and D dash. I mentioned the name of the corners. Meantime, I needed to note the dimension of the plane because it is given in the question. The side of the base of the square plane here given is 40 mm that we used also. Okay, so you remember one thing, whenever you draw anything in the front view area or in the top view area, immediately after naming the particular element, you need to draw the projector from that. This is a very important thing. So I needed to draw the projector. Here you can see, if I suppose to draw the projector for A dash and B dash, both are going to have a single projector only, because A dash B dash line is perpendicular to XY. Our projectors, generally projectors are always perpendicular to XY. By nature here A dash B dash is perpendicular to XY. So I am going to have only one projector which is common for A and B. So I needed to draw it like that. And the meantime, I needed to draw the projector for C dash and D dash. Completed. Now the front view is over. See what we obtained actually in our imagination as front view, we drawn that in real also. Now we need to draw the top view. Top view is what here? Actually in this question, the top view will be a straight line only. Straight line only. So that straight line should be drawn. And where to draw that straight line? Exactly where? Below XY. Surely below XY, because it is top view and we are processing with the first angle projection. That is, the object is placed above HP and in front of VP. So definitely the top view will be obtained below XY line. That is okay. And where exactly below? And the object also we just logged as it will be a straight line. And where the straight line top view can be drawn below XY. How much below XY? See here, actually the plane surface is 20 mm in front of VP, 20 mm in front of VP. Any dimension with respect to HP for any object, any dimension of the object with respect to HP is reflected in the front view. Reflected in the front view. See here, the object's one side is 15 mm above HP. That 15 mm above HP relation is reflected in the front view. And the same way, any dimension of the object with respect to VP should be reflected in the top view. And that's what I am saying. The object is 20 mm. The surface of the plane is 20 mm in front of VP. That 20 mm in front of VP can be used here as 20 mm below XY. Because below XY is nothing but top view area. Okay. So below XY you need to measure 20 mm first. And then draw a locus line which will help you to draw the final view. And there we are going to draw our top view. Our top view is just a straight line. That straight line should be drawn between the end projectors of our front view. The end projectors of the front view are that projector and this projector. These two projectors are nothing but the end projector. Why we are calling it as end projector? Because beyond that projectors nothing we are going to have. So the two projectors will cover the entire boundary of the image. So between these two end projector only we are going to have the top view. So that top view can be drawn like that with a HB pencil. However, I am having the locus with infinite length. I need to complete the drawing of top view within that end projectors only. End projectors only. And then we need to mark the name for that. So here I am going to name and there I am going to name. So I need to complete the naming of 4 corners in this single straight line. So here I can name A and B. And there I can name C and D. So A, B is here. So in that case, in this kind of situation, we need to put any one alphabet inside the bracket. Which one is invisible to your eyes in that particular view, that should be go inside the bracket. Now I am processing with the top view. I am seeing the object from the top. So first I can see the B and then A is beneath of B. So among A and B, which one is invisible when we are seeing it from the top? A. So you need to put bracket around A. In the same way, when you see it from the top, both C and D are lies in a same point. So among C and D, which one is visible to your eyes? Which one is hidden to your eyes? D. Because I am seeing it from the top, C is visible to me, D is just below the C. So I need to put bracket around the D. So in this way, you need to follow the naming procedure. Okay. So this is nothing but the answer for this question. The front view of the given plane is A dash, B dash, C dash, D dash. The top view of the given plane is A, B, C, D. This is nothing but the answer. This is what we are getting in our actual 3D environment. This can be drawn, same can be drawn in the 2D environment also. So this is nothing but projection of this plane. Once you are having any doubt in that procedure, you can ask. In the same way also we are going to draw the number of planes. We are going to practice with all the rectangle, hexagon, pentagon, and not only in that condition, just we worked with a single position, that is plane surface perpendicular to HP and parallel to VP. Beyond that we are going to practice plane surface parallel to HP and perpendicular to VP, plane surface inclined to HP and perpendicular to VP, plane surface perpendicular to HP and inclined to VP. All these kind of positions we are going to practice for drawing the projection of planes. So this is what the procedure. Maybe the object used here is the new one, that is we processed with the 2D object. So far we worked with a dimensionless point and a 2-dimension straight lines. Now it is a 1-dimension straight line and it is a 2-dimensional plane. The object may be differed, but I think the procedure for obtaining the projections of the object is the same from the beginning. In which way we projected the point, in the same way we projected this plane. In the same way we drawn the front and top views of the plane. So the orthographic projection concept is still same. Just we are upgrading our object. So in the next unit we are going to draw the projection of solids. There also we are going to follow the same method, but the object is different.